This is a Neko Media podcast.
What's your pleasure, sir?
Welcome to the show, Cinephiles and Cenobites. As you can see or hear, I'm still new to this podcast bullshit. Introduce yourself, homies.
I'm Mox. Thanks for checking us out and bearing with us.
Yeah, I'm Manofre. Thanks for stopping by today's show. Last episode was a special one, as in it was 4th Monday instead of our 1st and 5th Monday release days. Hope you enjoyed that one.
Episode 2 was released on a Thursday and episode 3 on a second Monday.
Yeah, they were. I have no excuse. They were late.
Can't handle the workload? Too much on your plate? Nothing to do but eat everything?
Yeah, those two are back to back, kind of like today's show. Thanks again for filling in for P, Schrody. I know it's a last minute gig, but we really appreciate it. Why don't you introduce yourself?
I'm that guy in your lucid dreams, taking you out on a luxurious dinner on a Saturday night. I'll hold that door open for you. Hi, ma'am. Need some help with those groceries? I'll take them to your car. Hey, brother, don't go out driving tonight. You had a little too much to drink. Please stay tonight. You can sleep on our couch. You low on rent? Hey, I got you. Get it back to me whenever you can.
Who are you talking to?
Yeah, what kind of Cenobite are you?
That's me in a nutshell.
Well, you sound helpful.
Yeah, and nice.
Cat of the Year.
Fuck you! I'm the opposite of all that.
What?
I'm your worst fucking nightmare. I'll stalk you on Friday, slam that door in your face, leave the toilet seat up. Hey, Rich, give me your shit. Now! I'll put them in my car. Hey, asshole, you can't stay here for the night. Get the fuck out of my house. I don't care if you're drunk. Your rent's due, motherfucker.
It's raining in here. Chill, Schrody.
Calm down, man. No need for that. Could you please stop the rain? You are fucking up the equipment.
I miss Sonic so much.
Not here, man. On with the show.
So what the fuck's on the menu today, bros?
Yeah, well, we'll be talking about Magnificent Seven, the remake by Antoine Fuqua.
You mean the cover of a cover?
Well, you see,
Yeah, just wait for the segment.
I want to know now!
we'll get into the details about the original Magnificent Seven and, of course, its influence from Akira Kurosawa's Seven Samurai.
Yeah, just wait for a bit.
Alright. I'll wait. You can be goddamn sure I'll be waiting for your punk ass in hell.
No, wait. I mean, don't wait. I mean,
Deal is done. What else on the list?
The Korean drama action No Tears for the Dead, and the Canadian sci-fi Between. I'll talk shoot 'em up. Ono has a short film called Drink.
well, we'll also continue and conclude our remakes discussion, part 3 of 3, and end the show with our favorite family-friendly movies to watch on Halloween with the kids.
If I dig the show at the end, I'll talk with the big boss to reconsider your stay.
Thank God.
Alright, what's this first segment called?
The Slashtag configuration.
Yeah, alright, the hashtag configuration.
Slashtag.
Hash.
Come on, man, don't make us call Harry your corrections officer.
/tag configuration.
All right, welcome to this
Slashtag.
Slashtag configuration. Magnificent Seven.
Yep.
The remake of the original Magnificent Seven, 1960. Steve McQueen, directed by John Sturges. We also have Yul Brynner,
And motherfucker Charlie Bronson.
Charles Bronson. Yes. And also that was adapted
Yup.
of Akira Kurosawa's Seven Samurai.
Yep.
And so,
Come on, dude. Samurai.
Yeah. Samurai. Seven Samurai.
Karaoke.
Okay.
It's like, come on, you're
Samurai.
from you.
It's not karate, it's karate.
Karate.
Karate. Or karate. By karate.
Karate. I fucking know karate. Okay.
Magnificent Seven, directed by Antoine Fuqua.
Fuqua. Starring Johnny Karate. Oh, excuse me. I mean, Chris Pratt.
Chris Pratt, Denzel Washington, Ethan Hawke,
Yep.
also Vincent D'Onofrio, Byung Hun Lee, Manuel Garcia Rufo, Martin Sensmeyer,
And don't forget Peter Sarsgaard.
Peter Sarsgaard. And we also have Haley Bennett.
Haley
as well.
Bennett.
And Matt Bomer's in there too. White Collar.
So
Magnificent Seven. So it's basically we got businessman Peter Sarsgaard who wants to take over the town for his mining.
by force, businessman, I guess would be in quotation.
Right. Yeah.
He's basically a gangster, just
Exactly,
going
yes.
any place he wants, using force to take what he wants.
Yeah. So several townsfolk are killed during the initial meeting and what he intends to do.
Okay. It opens at a towns meeting held in the church where all the townsfolk are sitting around bitching about this guy and what they should do. Most, everybody agrees that it's like fucked, but they're like, what can we do? Should we just run and leave? And then dude from White Collar, he's like, this is our land, you guys. We've come too far to just go somewhere else now. It's a frontier, it's barely even a frontier town, but I guess they've traveled from the east or, maybe Midwest. I'm thinking this is California-ish.
Yes, near, because in Sacramento is like
it's like a 3-day ride.
On horse.
On horse.
Yeah.
So you got to be in California. I mean,
Yeah.
riding horse for 3 days, I don't know if you can hit another state. It's during the gold rush too. So he, the bad guy, Peter Sarsgaard, he is basically taking over their town because it has access to a large mine where there is gold. And I guess the townsfolk, they didn't move there because they wanted to mine for gold. They just wanted a better place to live, and now they're being fucked because their town happens to have gold in it.
And these are all farmers, so they take that from the original. So farmers in need of help.
Yeah, they took that from both the originals. Seven Samurai too. They're just farmers.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I don't know how much gold there was in Napoleon.
So some people are killed in the beginning, and Haley Bennett's character, Emma Cullen, for like Twilight.
Yeah. Okay. The Cullens. Spork, Washington, or whatever.
So she gathers all the money the town has.
Wait, you missed the fucking. Should we tell them about the lady who gets an axe tossed at her and stabbed in the back?
Yeah. So it's pretty. It was more graphic than I anticipated.
It was like out of nowhere.
Yeah, because then all the men, majority of the men are going down like flies. I mean, these are
after their husband gets killed,
and then
they all start to what the fuck?
And then the woman gets knifed in the back, just out of nowhere.
Tomahawked in the back.
Oh.
And what was she doing? She just seemed to be running away.
Yeah, she was running, and I don't know if it was just she got caught in the firefight, or.
I mean, you gotta aim with a tomahawk.
Yeah. Okay.
It's like, what would have got to?
She was targeted.
Yeah, as fuck, and it's just that fucking Indian guy is a bad fucker.
Everyone was.
Was just like an oh fuck scene.
Yeah, it was just it was pretty. It was graphic and it was quick paced. I mean, it's all shots fired, and then the devastation and
and then they set the church on fire.
Yes, after that.
I think the writers really made him an over the top bad guy.
Yeah, because
there was no.
In Magnificent Seven, it's just this Mexican army, who's going to these farmers, and in exchange for protection, they get a majority of their crops. That's all it is.
Yeah, like the old school mafia protection money, right?
Right, yeah, in exchange, give me all the food. That's it. But in this one, it's just bloody from the get-go. Woo! Peter Sarsgaard means business in this.
He doesn't have that twirly mustache and the train track girl in the ropes, but that's exactly what he feels like. You hear that old ragtime, and he's just sitting there and grinning with his fucking stupid mustache.
When we get into the saloon, I don't think it's ragtime. I think early 1900s. That's when ragtime started coming out. Yeah. But
he just feels like that kind of bad guy. Is like such a caricature of evil.
And then so we get Denzel Washington, who is the Yule Burner of this one.
Black Cowboys,
yeah. They notice no one ever mentions race in this one. They
really don't. So
they just refer to him as cowboy, but he does stand out. Everyone's like, oh,
he's the only black. Well, yeah, and he's the only black guy in the entire movie. But he walks up into the saloon, all fucking outlaw Josie Wales-ish, and everybody's like stops what they're doing,
Yes.
and
yeah.
just like he fucking struts. Like if you can see me, I'm making like
Footsteps.
jingle jangle, motions like as if I had spurs. And he gets to the bar and he's like, yo, let me get a. He didn't say yo, but he's like, let me get a shot of whatever I asked for. And then the bartender's like, we don't carry that here. Then he slides like a coin, which I guess is a lot of money. Slides it in. He's like, well, in that case, let me get 2. Then the bartender's like, yeah, and he grabs up the bottle and it foreshadows a shotgun under the bar. And then he gives him the bottle, and then.
No, we're introduced to Chris Pratt's character in there.
He's like a gambling, a cad. He's like a cad, like a drunk card playing womanizer.
Yes.
But he's also handy with the steel, if you know what I mean.
This is nice. In this one, so we're introduced to Chris Pratt, womanizer for sure. He's always winking, but
He's a winker.
he doesn't pursue, and because I think the gun comes first.
Well, he later, he's like, yeah, this gun is my wife. What her name?
Oh yeah,
Ethel.
Maria was the other one.
Maria was like his side gun.
But yeah, we're introduced to Chris Pratt, and then people start to draw, and Denzel just drops everyone, like straight up, and like 3 people.
It really was like bam, 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 bam.
Yeah.
And at one point, this guy was at the card table with Chris Pratt, tries to draw on him too, and Chris Pratt already has his gun, and he's like, nah. So I'm thinking they knew each other, but I'm thinking Chris Pratt was just like, nah, just don't.
Yeah, and so we find out that this character, he's actually a warrant officer, and he mentions he's also a peace officer. Emma Cullen goes up to him and asks for help.
Tries to recruit him, too.
Yes. And so she gives him a bag of money. He's like, why do you need my help? And she tells him the story, and he's like, you just want revenge. She's like, I want what's righteousness. Righteousness, yes.
And then she's like, but I'll take revenge.
Yeah. Ooh.
That was a good one. I was
a
like,
little bit dark.
yeah. At this point.
And so he's like, all right, and he knows she drops the name, and so it's kind of familiar to him.
Yeah.
And so he knows he's going to go up against almost an army. So that's when recruiting the Magnificent Seven comes into play, and he eventually goes to Chris Pratt first, and then he tells Chris Pratt, okay, go to this town and find this guy, which turns out to be Ethan Hawke's character.
And Byung-Hyun Lee.
And Byung-Hyun Lee, yeah. After he recruits him, Denzel goes off with Emma to go find another wanted guy, which they'll recruit, which is Vasquez. Manuel Garcia Rufo is his character.
Yeah.
And so they recruit him, they meet up, and what do we get? A reunion between Denzel and
Ethan Hawke.
The last time they worked together, 2001, Training Day.
Was that really the last time? I know that would be the definite last time they worked together with Antoine Fuqua.
But for them together on screen,
that was also.
I think it was Training Day. Yeah,
Nice.
And it you kind of see it and the chemistry with their first initial meeting, big smiles, and like I know I'm excited to see them. Like
yeah, I heard you.
Like, oh my god. Okay.
There was one point where he kept going, oh
snap! This is like yes, okay, yes. Because
he was so pumped during that recruiting montage.
I feel like in Training Day, instead of Magnificent Seven, it was Magnificent Ethan Hawke, and he was the one who sought out righteousness in this corrupt police force. And Denzel's character was more like
he represents
Peter Sarsgaard or Senor Calvera from original Magnificent Seven. Well, I mean, maybe not entirely, but Ethan Hawke's character in Training Day, of course,
was the righteous,
the good cop.
Yeah.
Now, next stop, Vincent D'Onofrio, and then they come across a Native American who was just hunting.
Yeah, Comanche he was.
Yeah, and him and Denzel talk it off.
In Comanche, yeah.
Yeah, they do. And then
I don't know if that's actually Comanche,
I think to instead of like shaking hands, they gotta take out the liver from his kill. I think it's liver or just some organ, and then Denzel takes a bite out of this raw organ.
And then they're partners already.
Yeah, that's the contract.
But also his name, the name of the Indian signifies what he does. He's called Red something, but that's because he feeds
Red Harvest.
Red Harvest. That's because he feeds on the organs of his kills.
Oh.
Raw.
So okay now, and the Magnificent Seven is formed.
That's the form. He's
That's
the
the
seventh. He's the seventh guy.
He's the seventh guy.
Yeah, I had to tap you and ask you, is that 7?
Yeah, he's like, how many? He kept throwing up figures. 4, 3. Yes. There's 4 of them only right now, right?
I kept losing count because I'm getting thrown off by the people who's not part of the 7, but they're like
right?
hanging around.
They're the townsfolk like tagging along. Like 3, 4, 5. Yeah, they're on 5 right now. Yeah. And so they head back to town, and they're gonna plan this out. Well, they gotta talk to the townsfolk first and see.
We're very resistant and not grateful at all.
They get into town and give the actual details. I guess it's different because, well, they know the situation clearly. They're gonna help the townsfolk, and that's why. And at that point, it's no longer really for the money, and so they want to do the right thing. And I that's kind of how Antoine Fuqua in his other movies, he kind of does that too. Bring up like King Arthur.
That's true, but in the case of King Arthur, these guys were knights. Well, not really knights, but they were appointed to a knight to serve the crown. So that was their bond. They've also fought many wars together. And then in Tears of the Sun, these guys were Navy SEALs. So they know all about teams. I feel this is the first team movie where you're dealing with mercenaries.
See, in Tears of the Sun, they go in. Their mission
is just to get the doctor.
To get the doctor and the nuns and priests, if they choose to, because they're secondary. Priority is Monica Bellucci.
Yeah.
And so
Monica Bellucci.
They stay behind, and Monica Bellucci comes in, but she's like, you're gonna take me. I want to take the people.
Yeah.
And so Bruce Willis is like, okay, sure, just to get things going. And then when they finally leave them, he realizes, okay, we need to help these people, and that's why they come back and say, okay.
I feel that one had a much stronger emotional undercurrent than Magnificent Seven.
Yeah.
I did not feel emotionally attached to the struggle at all. It is first and foremost an actioneer.
Magnificent Seven?
Yes.
Yeah, I believe so. Like it's action packed with a dramatic backdrop.
Sort of, but yeah,
it's more action, than.
Yeah, even the opening scene doesn't evoke the tragedy of a Western. Yeah, a bunch of people got killed, but there's no real setup. You're just supposed to invest automatically with these people. So
True.
it's not a Western, and it lacks the emotional underpinnings of a true drama.
True drama and Western.
Yeah, this I think is a shoot 'em up.
Yes. And then later, when they bust out that Gatling gun, it's pretty much an end game right there.
The ending scene evokes probably the most emotion, when you start seeing these people you've followed the whole movie getting mowed down, and I guess
they do put a lot of emphasis on, we get to know the Magnificent Seven.
Yeah. Even some of the townsfolk, I mean, they're not as in the foreground, but you see them getting picked off or being scared at first and then just dying.
We're attached to these people, these characters for sure. But it's like, it's action first, very action driven. But it's not a Western, not your typical Western.
It's set in the, in the Wild West, but it is not a Western.
Yeah.
It is the lights out of Western movies.
Yeah. And I feel like, even though the original Magnificent Seven did spawn about, I think, 3 other movies, 3 sequels, this one it's a one shot. It has to be.
At least with this A-listing things, because I don't think...
It was an A-list cast, yeah. With
big
the Magnificent, and big time director.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Antoine Fuqua really hasn't done a shitty movie since fucking Replacement Killers. Which
I don't think he's ever done
20 years ago.
A shitty movie. He's never done a bad movie. Replacement Killers.
Agree to disagree on Replacement Killers. Awesome plot that wasn't a new thing even back then, but still just failed to deliver.
But he hit a home run with King Arthur, and then again with Tears of the Sun. And then he had one with
Hey, did we miss Training Day? Yeah. Home run with Training Day. Home run with fucking King Arthur.
Oh, Shooter. Olympus Has Fallen.
He did Shooter too?
Yeah.
Damn.
Oh my god.
What action movie has this guy directed that I've not liked?
Equalizer. Shout out to
Equalizer. McCall as a Delta Force operative.
Brooklyn's Finest was freaking amazing.
He did Brooklyn's Finest?
Yes.
Okay, there's another. Okay, he has two shitty movies. I did not like Brooklyn's Finest, dude.
So I think he hit another homer with
Definite.
Magnificent Seven.
Yeah.
Shout out to Denzel Washington.
Of course.
Chris Pratt.
Yep.
Ethan Hawke.
Yes.
Vincent D'Onofrio.
Oh.
Byung Hung Lee.
Yo.
Manuel Garcia Rulfo. Haley Bennett.
Yep.
Peter Sarsgaard.
And Peter Sarsgaard.
Martin Sesmeyer.
Martin Sesmeyer as Red
Harvest.
Red Harvest.
Red Harvest. Yo. Shout out.
Yup.
Most definitely.
Magnificent cast, magnificent director, magnificent movie.
Magnificent Seven. Go
watch CC.
Yup.
Oh wow, I didn't realize the magnitude of Kurosaw's influence and impact on modern day cinema.
Big time.
Yeah, it goes back a long ways.
So what's next?
Kicking and streaming.
How does this work?
Didn't you read the...
It's the segment where we recommend a show or movie from a streaming site.
Like Foot Locker?
No, a real legit streaming site.
Come on,
We're not getting into this.
I'm a cat, a male cat at that, but I still ain't the biggest pussy in this room.
P would always say that.
I miss Annika so much.
What did you do, dude?
Nothing, man. I guess we should have mentioned P no more.
Annika!
Kicking and streaming.
Okay, so for this time's Kicking and Streaming, I have No Tears for the Dead, which is a Korean action film from 2014, directed by Jong Bom Lee, written by him as well, and starring Don-gun Jang, Min-hee Kim, and Brian T. Out of nowhere.
Brian T.
DK!
DK. Fucking,
Tokyo Drift?
Tokyo Drift, yeah.
Jurassic World.
Yep. He's the guy, she can camouflage! And then he gets murdered. Okay, the movie centers around Gon, G-O-N, without the Gon.
I think it's Gone.
Gon. It opens up in a restaurant. He is there for a job, and he needs to kill this computer hacker financial guy. So he does that. He murks him legit style. But he also kills that guy's daughter
By accident.
So he gets depressed, and they find him at like the tail end of the bender. His homies Brian C. and the rest, and these two fucking Spanish brothers.
Dos hermanos.
Dos hermanos. They like find him face down in his bed in puke.
Yeah.
And they roll him over and shower him up, and he's really fucked up by killing this little girl. But I mean, understandable, right? So what do next?
They bring him back for another job.
Yes.
Yeah. Immediately, like, okay, it's like wake up.
Yeah. Wake up, dude.
It's time for another job.
Don't feel bad. Hurry up. We gotta work.
Yeah. That's
now, not just any job. They bring him back to kill the wife and mother of the duo he just murked.
Oh yeah. Right. Yeah.
I was like, he's obviously broken by murdering this child. Now you're gonna send him after the mother?
But see, I'm wondering if they, you're a hitman. Like, you have no conscience. Like,
apparently he does. They found him in a sea of puke.
Yeah, but like, I think that's what they're expected. Like, just do your job.
I'm sure, but realistically, like, he is gonna damage the brand.
And that's his family that raised him, right?
Yeah.
That's the thing, right? I mean, your family, you know how we
roll.
Yeah.
You know how you roll. That actually, okay, maybe that's true. And maybe that's why they give him the benefit of the doubt. We also found it funny that through this movie, they subtitled the English of other characters, but they don't bother to do that while Gon speaks.
Yes,
like, he's the very one. He's giving important information, but you don't know what the fuck he's saying.
I didn't.
Like, how much times Ono had to look at me and like, what the?
Yeah, what did he say? He said, you can fuck off now. You can.
The first time. After this other Korean guy is giving him shit about not speaking Korean, but apparently he does speak Korean. Apparently, yes, that's like all he would speak.
It's Korean Elvis in this one.
Korean Elvis. I don't know his name, but he was the bad guy in The Man from Nowhere. He's the guy who fucked with the little girl's eyeballs, but come to find out it wasn't the little girl's eyeballs. It was just somebody's random eyeballs that he was teasing was the little girl's eyeballs.
Well, yeah, and No Tears for the Dead, they have like different storylines going on, right? It gets a
Yeah,
little
actually,
bit.
that guy gets his he gets his own thing. He wants his 2 million. He's doing insufferable things
Yeah.
for an insufferable man who happens to be the boss of the
wife.
widow,
The widow.
widow and mother, who Gon is contracted again to kill. He's the one who actually put the hit out on the husband,
Right.
and he's just a piece of shit. But his English is flawless. Like,
When he's contracted to go take this family out now, so he goes to Korea.
Yeah.
And then
back to Korea.
And he hasn't been there since he was a
Since
kid.
he was like 8, yeah.
So, I guess it's just a total mind meld.
I'm thinking that's what it puts him back in that mind state, because we're constantly reminded through flashback of his childhood growing up with his crazy ass mom in Korea before they moved to America.
When he's contracted now, he doesn't want to.
Yeah, he doesn't want to do it. Like, it must be the family thing because they keep prodding him to go. But as just like an employer, if I was an employer of a professional, I'd be like, you know what, this guy's not up to the job. Get someone else. Bring in the number 2 if you have to. This guy is not in a headspace to complete anything functionally.
So, but throughout No Tears for the Dead, you like, ever since that incident, Gon is battling depression or some inner turmoil. And it hits deeper once we find out.
Gon is like broken this entire movie.
Yeah, even before that, like, I mean, just his
he looks
upbringing.
normal he looks normal in the beginning, but when they start flashbacking and when they show the ramifications of accidentally killing a little girl, he's just a broken dude.
Yeah, and he uses this opportunity to
kind of like redeem, or
in a sense,
just
like, because he knows that the mom is broken now because of the child and her husband.
Yeah, they show some really dramatic, melodramatic scenes.
I guess he wants her to get, in a sense, revenge. It's her story, like
her rebuilding, her
Yeah.
edification, her catharsis that he's going for.
Yeah.
Because, okay.
And
well,
I
that
think,
explains the ending more.
I think it's for him to kind of, to redeem himself. He's going to let her get justice, like, by taking his life.
Which he does
in exchange.
in the ending scene, yeah. We just totally blew it for you, but I doubt you'll sit through this yourself if you haven't. Like, but yeah, I mean, I feel like we were just talking about this.
Yeah.
The No Tears for the Dead is because his mom strictly told him no crying. You cannot cry.
Right.
And she would beat the shit out of him when he started crying. He was kind of a little bitch as a kid, like.
He's the only child too, right? So it's.
She just would relentlessly beat that shit out of him.
And his dad wasn't or his dad was around.
I think his dad was a pimp or some shit. His real dad in Korea.
Oh, and then the guy who brought the mom and him to America was just another dude.
Just another douche, but at least it was America, I guess. The mom thought,
It's weird because you think his mom tried to get rid of him. And in his eyes, it's like
a shun, like,
but
you ain't shit. But
she's trying to tell him.
I think actually it's she's trying to save him. Like, you know what? As shitty as your life will be without a parent, or
it'll be better.
It'd be better than if you stay with me, because now she's like a heroin addict or some shit, and a hooker again.
And I think that's why it hits him hard when he accidentally takes this child away from this family.
Oh, it reminds,
Like,
okay.
They didn't want to get rid of her. Like, I mean, well, the dad took the daughter on a business trip.
But this one is like, it's actually
a bromance. Because then, there's that bond between him,
and
Gon, and Brian T.
Brian T. Oh, is that how you say it? T? You don't pronounce the S?
Oh, is it C?
Well, it's TSE. I don't.
Oh, is it? I thought it was TEE.
Yeah, there is a deep, like...
Because they grew up together.
Yeah.
So there's that kind of brotherhood bond right there. And when they find out he's turning back on the contract, he's sent in to take him out.
And you can see Brian C. reacting violently, but I feel that it's out of hurt. He's not aiming for kill shots at that part of the apartment complex, but he is firing off like fuck. because he's fucking pissed and feeling betrayal, and he doesn't understand why Gon is doing this. Well, also they reference something that happened in Cambodia where
there's a little backstory where he saved him.
Where he saved Brian C. That might make sense why he does not kill the hot chick mom at the end.
Right, because he tells him, or he kind of just tugs on his hand like, "Don't do it."
Yeah.
Like, this is what I wanted. She needs justice. She's the one that lost the family, but in turn he lost a brother. And that's why we don't see him crying.
Cause no cries, no tears.
No tears for the
But
dead.
then they cut to like a weird flashback of when he was 8 in some kind of, I want to say not massage parlor, like bathhouse.
Yeah.
And then the little Gon is crying, and then they flash forward to like an adult Gon in that same bathhouse crying, and then the movie just ends there. I think the little Gon is crying for himself versus the older Gon who's crying for what he's done. So yeah, that was No Tears for the Dead, a movie that was less impressive second time around. This time I guess I viewed it more as a, I guess we viewed it as more of a drama with some action. Kind of that ending scene really.
Yeah, drama in the foreground, action in the background.
And the action in the background, yes. But yeah, that was my pick. That was a Yo Watch CC. So what'd you pick?
I picked Between.
That's right.
That's currently on Netflix. They released the second season back in June. And so right now,
that's right.
There's actually a hashtag going on for that show. Pray for season 3.
I don't know about that,
but so if Between is a Canadian sci-fi thriller, first released in 2015 through the City TV network and later through Netflix for international distribution. That's why we get to see it right now.
AKA United States.
The series is created by Michael McGowan and features a large ensemble, which includes Jeanette McCurdy, Jesse Carey, Ryan Allen, and Justin Kelly. All Canadians except Jeanette McCurdy.
Which one does Jeanette McCurdy play?
I believe she's the girl on the poster.
The mean girl. Oh, okay.
Yeah. So season 2 was released back in June with the series. So the series has a total of 12 episodes. As to whether I feel there should be a season 3, I'll get into that in a little bit. First off, there's nothing post-apocalyptic about this series.
Is that what people think? Like it's a post-apocalyptic?
Because you read the synopsis, all the adults are dead in this small town. And it's confined to this small town.
Feeling was like it was, I didn't even know it was a confinement story. I just thought it was like a supernatural thing. Yeah. So I stayed away from that. I'm like, I need one more teen supernatural.
Right. And so, but it's set in modern day world, and so far only the small town, and the town is called Pretty Lake is affected. So what has affected this town is some kind of virus or disease that has been killing people 22 years of age and above. It kills them almost instantly. And this disease is age specific because throughout the show, we've seen adults drop like flies. Anyone 21 years old who went on to turn 22 after the start of this epidemic would soon die after.
Well, on the actual second they were born, on their 22nd birthday, actually they just.
Yeah, sure. It's pretty crazy, or silly.
That's the word.
So now all the children and young adults who are still alive are left to pretty much fend for themselves. Until you turn 22 for some. Then you're dead. But that's the premise in a nutshell. Sound familiar, right? Well, 2 books came to mind when I first heard of the show. William Golding's Lord of the Flies.
That one everyone's heard of, I'm sure.
O.T. Nelson's Girl Who Owned a City.
Nobody's heard of that.
If this was actual school reading for me.
What?
Yeah. But we didn't get...
Interesting school. Well, you went to Wanalua. They do have... Yeah. They're like regarded,
and so Lord of the Flies was like sophomore year.
Everyone does that,
right? And a Girl Who Owned the City was actually 7th grade, but actually I didn't get to read this. We had to read, our side of the class had to read Island of the Blue Dolphins, but she's stranded on the island. Yeah, she's stuck in an island and has to fend for herself.
I'll tell you what book you got to read if you want to read Stuck on an Island story. It's called Call It Courage Motherfucker gets planted. He gets stuck on an island by himself. He's like 12, 13, 14, whatever. He got to fucking kill a shark. Then he finds out that island is already inhabited by cannibals.
Oh, damn.
Call it courage.
Oh, I don't watch Blue Lagoon and Return to the Blue Lagoon. We're going on Stranded Eye.
No cannibals and sharks.
We got Brooke Shields and then Mia Jovovich.
Yeah.
Okay. So both books, Lord of the Flies and A Girl Who Owned the City, encompass the scenario of children in a world with no adults, but differ in that in Golden's book, the children are stranded on an island and the rest of the world just doesn't know where they are. And in Nelson's, all the adults in the world, as far as this book suggests, all die from an illness. Both stories, the children are much younger. In Golding's, they're young teens and younglings. I kind of like think JV Varsity, Pop Warner kind of age. And in Nelson's, the surviving children at the oldest were 12. So I think if you're 13 and older, you died. Yeah.
Wow.
So you think with 21-year-olds placed in this scenario, it should be no problem keeping it all together in a small town until help arrives, right?
You would think, but I don't know how many 21-year-olds there were.
Yeah, I think there. Well, they do mention in the beginning one is a teacher, but see,
who has completed her master's.
Yeah, she completed it. So just think, if she's 21, so if you go the normal route, so you graduate high school 18. Go get your undergraduate 4 years,
22.
and then your master's 2 years. No, she had to graduate early, or.
Or gone through her coursework super quick, maybe.
Maybe, yeah. Like, because then some people graduate high school in 3 years, or they get their undergrad in 3 years. I mean, if you got AP credits or whatever. But just saying, okay, she didn't do really much. Like, you think with this woman,
she would take leadership role or something, like organizing the town.
But I think the bulk of her life was just set in academics. That was just her role until she got the teaching job. I would think.
I think she never moved outside of academics, even when the end of the town needed her to step up and step outside of her comfort zone. She just later, still wants to.
Like, she's like, I think I'm going to open the school back up.
That's a big contribution.
Oh, okay. Sure, thanks. Where were you 2 weeks ago when the shit hit the fan? I mean, and then she wants to celebrate her 22nd with a beer. Like,
and a student.
With the student, right? And see, I guess this student, the character of Adam is his character, because he's supposed to be like a smart kid. He's going to MIT like earlier, and
he's like a outcast.
Yeah, an emotionless koala. like he's slow moving. He's not surprised or excited or scared or in fear. He's just, look at these people. I've seen the age. Only 22-year-olds.
Yeah, he's the one who figures out that it's an age thing. Yeah.
So I mean, he's just looking at data. He's going to MIT. We assume MIT, Massachusetts Institute of Technology.
Yeah, but it could have been like Middleton Institute of
Tennessee Institution of School or whatever. I don't. Tennessee Maritime, right?
I mean, we assume, that he's going in Massachusetts, MIT, but I don't know. I mean, he's smart, but
he's a smart one. So,
but he's irritating.
So you think with these 21-year-olds, no, they don't keep it together. Something else came to mind several episodes into the series. I heard on another podcast, the host said it used to be when you turned 18, you were an adult, but nowadays you're a child until 26. There's some kind of social commentary on this show where speaking on millennials, where they don't want to take responsibility or I don't want to say man up, but take charge. That would be the more appropriate response to this. Take charge. Come on, you got to do something.
Yeah, come on, millennials. Not everybody can get Twitter famous and rich. You sometimes need skills.
But granted, the whole world is aware of the situation going on in Pretty Lake. Before the power went off in the city, there's a short montage of social media going off on this town, and it's hitting news sites, so everyone is aware of what's going on here. And before anyone could really do anything about it, let's say like the townsfolk want to leave Pretty Lake, the entire town is sealed off. So after all the adults died, the survivors are now left with the task of gathering up the bodies into one place and burning them. And it's one of the last things that children are told to do by the government. And after this, with the exception of anyone turning 22, pretty much the rest of the series is chapter 38 in Stephen King's The Stand. for the rest of the series. The so-called second epidemic or natural death scenario. The one person who takes it upon himself to take charge of the town, making decisions he feels are best for everyone, and even going as far as creating some kind of makeshift police force with other students, just so the kids don't overtly go rebellious. This kid is met with much conflict by other kids because he's mainly seen as the spoiled rich kid from the rich family.
Whose father basically owned the town.
Yeah. This is Chuck, the character played by Justin Kelly. I think this character though might be a year or two out of high school, because you don't see him in the school, but he's
Are you sure? I think he is. I think he's still in high school.
Like,
right?
I don't know if he's like one of those like I was the teen.
Well, here's
captain.
how you know.
Because then we see the kids, the teen mom in the school,
Right.
and then right after that we see him in that car, driving.
But I feel like he's always still wearing his Letterman.
I know, it seems like I was like, why is I guess he's still
holding on.
Yeah, like he can't get out.
If he's so awesome, why is he not in college? Why is he in the town during the school year?
See, I think he's one of those. He's sticking around to help with the family biz.
Oh, well, I was gonna say, here's how you know this is Canada. He's the big time school town sports star, and he plays hockey.
But see, this character, I regard him as like a loyal son to both his parents. Because there's that one scene where a couple kids are caught stealing one of the cars, and he tries to kind of reason his father to go less aggressive on these kids, but he says no, shuts them down. He's like, he still takes his father's side despite that. And Chuck is one of those, I like to call him like one of those ideal big brothers, because he's not like a jerk. He wants to take care of his younger sisters.
Well, one was a drug dealer. The other had Down syndrome.
Right. But his relationship.
He's not as terrible as he initially appears.
Yeah.
He does a hit and run, and then his parents get him out of it.
But also, there's another character, Gord, who played by Ryan Allen.
Is that the black dude?
Yeah, the farmer.
I like him, but I feel sorry for him. He kind of almost had a thing with the chick from church.
And not just one, but like,
right.
There's like all
There's
these
like
girls.
3, yeah.
All these girls want him, and he's like, I got a sister to take care of.
Yeah, well, he almost gets on with
the Amish girl.
Wait.
Like, she totally moved in.
Right, she moved in, and she was cute. She just happens to be a Mennonite.
And she's
Cinephiles
married.
and Mennonites, and she's already married to, like, the guy from fucking.
And he didn't know his character is because I like him because he's the one guy everyone goes to for advice.
Yeah, he seems to be
help.
the problem solver, and he helps to keep Chuck, or he tries to keep Chuck at bay.
Yeah, and I do think of him though metaphorically as the conch and Piggy's glasses from Lord of the Flies, but rather being a symbol of power, he stands to be a symbol of reasoning. And once his character dies, all reasoning is thrown out the window and only chaos ensues.
I know how you feel about spoiler alerts. Like, if you're listening to something, it's goes without saying that you've seen it already. But what if they just wanted a review and maybe a breakdown? Now they know that Gord
the
dies.
series has been up since June. It's already October. You had all that time. If you call yourself a real Netflix fan, you would have gone through this on one weekend.
How would you like it? You want to see Stranger Things, right?
Yeah.
You're listening to a podcast, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, they just like
That's
blow
why I stay away.
anything that tags Stranger Things.
I didn't see it yet. Sorry.
Okay, well, yeah, okay. Let me just further go with Gord's character. The reason I feel sorry with him is because, like, every chick he almost gets with dies, with exception of the Amish girl.
Yeah. How did the church girl die?
She died in the car crash at the season finale of season 1. And then he's gonna get it on with somebody's sister or something, and then she gets like fucking shot or stabbed or something.
I think it was because you see the scene where they're planting the seeds, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. She doesn't die. He dies before they can have a thing. But they're almost about to get it on. Like, you can see, like.
See, at that point when you find out he died, he's not coming back.
Right.
It's like, what? It's like, you killed him off. You killed off another sibling. Why are you torturing these kids, man? You're breaking all these kids up. So once, like, I felt like after he's gone, there's no, like, for real, like, there's no more reasoning. This is gonna go downhill, and it can only go downhill from here.
It kind of doesn't, because Then Chuck, he takes a step back and he realizes, you know,
because he did have to take a step back because of all bad decisions like that he had to make, and he takes full responsibility for. But now like he's got to step up now for we find out another spoiler. Teen mom.
Yeah, I hate it. Well, while we're still talking about Chuck, bro, this is so crazy. One way his friend gets hurt. He needs an appendectomy.
Right. Oh.
So there's obviously no like surgeons in town, right? Because anyone over 22 is dead. So one of his friends, I guess, knows how to pilot a Cessna, and
like he said, he took a few lessons, right?
Yeah, I'm like, okay. I mean, you know,
he's the only one qualified.
Yeah, I guess we'll ride with him.
Yeah.
So they're like, Gord's like, no, dude, they're gonna fucking shoot you out of the sky. He's like, they wouldn't do that to us.
Yeah.
We're citizens. we're people, or
he didn't say we're children, you know, but like it's like they're gonna help us. But.
So his friends get in the plane, they take off. About 5 seconds in flight, they're fucking hit by like a javelin or something and just blown out of the sky. It's pretty fucking crazy. It was a little bit of cliffhanger because I'm thinking, come on, they're gonna get blown up, but I'm like, would they really do that?
Yeah, and I saw it. Whoa, okay, and they mean business.
They fucking did.
I thought after Gord is gone, there's no redeeming this show. Like, however it ends, it's gonna end that way. And the ending we do get of ending of season 2, I feel like they can just leave it there and it will just be fine. Like, just leave it open ending because we already have an idea of where it's gonna lead to. And then at that point, if they do make a season 3, they'd have to like start it, like, you know, one of those 10 years after the events of the first one. Because then if it's a direct right after the events of season 2, it's just like, okay, I mean, we're gonna get another 6 episodes of introduction to a new cast. I mean, and then how you're gonna intertwine with all the people who left Pretty Lake, and you still got all those people who are still in Pretty Lake. What are you gonna do with that? You know, it's like,
I kind of want to go back to that thing, but yeah, I hear what you're saying. I don't want to see another 6 episodes of just the rehashed stuck in Pretty Lake, which by the way is a terrible name. Come on, Canada. I know you guys are not the joke that the world thinks, but
I don't know. That's supposed to be a Canadian town, right?
Yeah.
But I saw I saw a car with a license plate that said Rhode Island on it.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, okay, maybe it's on that side.
Well, I mean, the person in charge is called Minister. Was the first thing that I was thinking, is this Canada? It's called Pretty Lake. Second, I was thinking, hockey. Is this Canada? Third, there's a minister in charge. I was like, okay, it's definitely gotta be fucking Canada.
But the characters, you get to know them pretty well. I guess depends on how you look at them. If you can relate to
I really liked Wiley. I hated her through the first season, but she really stepped it up in the second season.
She kind of did, yeah. But it's still like, I still saw those characters as uninteresting. Like, they're just like, so okay, get them out then. What it is your fault that this happened. Well, you find out. I'm gonna stop with the spoilers, but I think it's a good show to watch just because you got that. It's not a definite kind of like
it's not a supernatural, it's not a post-apocalyptic.
They don't do anything to help this
actually town it's a lesser badass Under the Dome.
Under the Dome?
Yeah, you ever seen Under the Dome?
Oh, I've heard the name, but I didn't watch that. No.
It's a badass one. It only lasted about 3 seasons.
You know, it's the government is behind this, and so
I
it's
didn't
more
at
hostile.
first. I thought it was
Just
paranormal.
At that point, because they're not getting any help from the outside world, really.
At all.
Yeah.
I mean,
and
the government doesn't drop them supplies or anything. I mean,
so they kind of just it's more like a under the radar, or like they don't want to put any more news on it because it messed up on their end, and I guess they're kind of just trying to cover it up. And then these kids, are just left to fend for themselves, and it gets a little chaotic, and some action stuff. You know, it's kind of cool what they do with all these characters, and to see them progress from just being kids to already having taken tasks as adults.
Yeah, but not as badass as Red Dawn.
No,
as far as kids taking up arms and shit.
Yeah, Red Dawn still stands the test of time, for sure. But for Between, as a series, check out on Netflix. Definitely go You'll watch CC.
You'll watch CC.
Yeah, between.
No tears for the dead. P is dead to me. I won't ever cry about her ever again.
Actually, it's not the same.
Dude, not now.
And between, you just like shitty shows.
It's not shitty.
Dude, let it go. It's dope, but I think he's just ranting.
These are horrible recommendations. What's next? Secular.
Insanity. Secular Insanity. I review a full-length movie.
Well, what you got?
Shoot 'em up.
Oh, Clive Owen. He was in King Arthur too, huh?
Yes, also by Antoine Fuqua.
I did enjoy that one. But with regards to the tale, I prefer Excalibur. It was more dramatic for me and only intensified by its action backdrop. Kind of like No Tears for the Dead, I guess.
Interesting.
Yeah, you're right.
I know. I'm always right. Secular Insanity.
Alright, on this joint Secular Insanity, we've got Shoot 'em Up, directed by Michael Davis, written by him as well, starring Clive Owens, Paul Giamatti, and Monica Bellucci. In this ultra-violent bullet symphony satire, Clive Owens plays Mr. Smith, a heat-packing, carrot-snacking badass who saves an infant from assassins. The film opens with Smith sitting at a bus stop eating his trademark carrot. He sees a pregnant woman being chased down by a bad dude. He kills the dude and then helps her deliver the baby, in the middle of a shootout with the bad dude's backup led by Hertz, played by Paul Giamatti, another Harvard alum. The woman is killed, but Smith manages to save the infant and escape Hertz. Smith seeks help from a lactating hooker, DQ, played by Monica Bellucci, and offers her $5,000 to watch the baby. She refuses. Smith is like, fuck it, and takes off. But the ever-intuitive Hertz, who apparently used to be an FBI profiler, ascertains that the baby will need milk after fondling the dead mother's breast, and tracks them down to the whorehouse, which is actually an old church repurposed. He tortures DQ for Smith's whereabouts. Smith returns, and the action explodes. Then Smith, DQ, and the infant escape and take off in a stolen car. From there, Hertz calls for 50 more men. Now, the movie gets super interesting / cheesy from here on out, depending on who you are and what you take away from movies. This movie can be enjoyed straight up as an action bonanza. It even has the requisite evil politician at the crux of the plot. But my takeaway is that writer-director Michael Davis, who also did 100 Girls, another movie I absolutely love, managed to simultaneously showcase his awe and disdain for mindless action joints. He does it in such a clever, entertaining manner and almost as a throwback or homage to Looney Tunes, with Smith as the iconic Bugs Bunny versus Hertz Elmer Fudd. It's a highly violent and menacing cartoon that serves violence with a childish innocence. If you love over-the-top characters, plots, and sequences shot through a sarcastic lens, Shoot 'em Up is a film for you. You'll watch CC.
That movie is tight. You fucking left out a shitload. What about the sex scene gunfight?
Yes, Schrody. That's what's called a synopsis, not a fucking scene-by-scene breakdown.
What you said?
Nothing. I was talking to Ono.
You said my name.
Did I?
Schrody.
What?
What is that?
Give me that!
What is this?
That's my fucking notes! Come prepared so I don't just talk shit like you fucks.
Part of it is your notes. What's this on the other side, Schrody? What's that?
What is that, Schrody?
Schrody, did you write Annika a poem? Is this a poem?
Oh my god. I'm just a boy looking at a girl, asking her to love him. Schrody! You look terrifying, but you write poetry and you actually know about movies. You're kind of a dork, huh?
A little bit.
You think maybe that's why Annika dumped you?
Is that what the fuck she said? Fuck that fucking bitch. She crazy. I fucking dumped that bitch.
Bitch, are we talking about the same girl? Because it says here on your paper that she's rainfall on the mountain in spring.
What? I wanna see. Oh, Schrody, this is beautiful. What I hope what I pray, never seem to make it into what I actually say. You are rainfall. wait. You are rainfall on a mountain in spring. You are a ray of sun that warms the earth in a gentle embrace. Your scars littered like stars glittered on the blanket of space, mysteriously guiding us and helping me see. Oh, Schrody. That's some Princess Bride type shit, son. Stable boy, hand me my coffee.
As you wish.
Wesley would always answer Buttercup with a single reply. As you wish. But what he was really saying was,
I love you.
I can't believe she dumped you.
Don't see it.
Let's just do this segment before I pull your spines from your body and wear that shit like Predator.
That was dark, bro.
The shortest straw.
Alright, for this shortest straw, I'll be talking about the film Drink, a Paper Crane production released in 2014, written and directed by Emily Moss Wilson, and co-written by Larry Soilu. So a mother and her two sons are out on the road and make a pit stop in the middle of the night at a motel. The only vacant room has a busted water pipe, and after much insistence from the family, the manager lets them take the room, which also happens to be room 13. But I don't think that has any relevance to the story. So the family checks into the room, and that's when things get weird. The mother is clearly frustrated and stressed. Her smoking on and off clearly indicates this, along with her constant arguing with her two sons, who also have a sort of broken relationship with each other. Somewhere along their trip, well, it's also not a trip. Turns out the mother took her sons away from their father, and now they're sort of on the run. Another red flag attributed to her distress. But somewhere they crossed the line, or it could be the room, most likely the room. They've entered the so-called Twilight Zone, where pretty much anything can happen. And this ain't no Twilight Zone where it's, beauty is in the eye of the beholder, or, don't drink and drive or else you get picked off by aliens. The story is a cautionary tale on sort of choices that deal with family and family issues, and its message could be interpreted in different ways. It's a thrilling story with dark undertones and supernatural events, and its message is more or less clear at the end. Again, it's how you interpret it. The film has some cool effects that carry that creep factor. It relies heavily on sound effects and closes with an acoustic song summarizing the story's message. The film was funded primarily through Kickstarter, obviously a success, made the runs on the film fest circuit, and now it's online for everyone to view. Search for it on YouTube or visit the director's website. Check it out, emosswilson.com/drink. You'll watch CC.
Hey, Schrody, we named this next seg after you. Schrody's Ladder.
I bet if you tell your next girlfriend that you got a podcast segment named after you, she won't be so quick to dump you.
For the absolute last time. Annika did not dump me!
Schrody, maybe it's because you don't have a cool enough pirate name. Hey, Ono, what would be a good pirate name for Schrody?
How about the Big Homo Roberts?
Nice. How about the Gay Poet Roberts?
Cries in the Shower Roberts.
Cookie dough and mint chocolate Roberts?
Are you there, God? It's me, the Biggest Loser Roberts.
Hello from the other side, Roberts.
I love ya, always have, Roberts.
I like it a lot, Roberts.
Swept in the leg, Roberts.
Nice. Has to get someone to fall in love with him by the last rose petal fall of his 21st birthday, or he'll stay this way forever, Roberts.
Ah, damn, I know this one. Beauty and the Beast?
Good ear, son.
Enough! Let's just do this fucking segment.
Okay, geesh.
Hey, Ono, you hear that?
Hear what?
There's something sweet.
And almost kind.
But he was mean and he was coarse and unrefined.
You know we're gonna be trapped in the labyrinth forever now. You know that, right?
I'm sorry. Are you blaming me?
He was gonna talk to Leviathan, maybe get our deal down a bit. Now we're fucked. Follow us on Twitter at FuckedEternally.
Guess I was a little insensitive.
You think?
He wrote poetry, Ono. Poetry. I'm not gonna make fun of that. Besides, fuck you. You were right there laughing and singing along.
Whatever, let's just... Schrody's ladder, which leads to hell, where we'll be trapped for eternity.
You think they sell beer in hell?
No, just all duels.
Oh, duels, bitch. Previously on Schrody's Reboots and Remakes.
Alright, welcome to the Schrody segment, part 3 of 3 of our remakes discussion.
We're finally at the end.
Yeah. Last episode we touched base on trending remakes, vampires and zombies.
Blah. Yeah.
Time differences between originals and remakes, and then on to foreign remakes, American versions
of foreign remakes of foreign films. Yeah.
We talked about last The Departed and Infernal Affairs.
Yep.
Amazing remake, very successful American version.
Took the Oscar, son.
It did. And I want to point out there was a 4-year time difference between that. I think it was Departed was 2006. Inferno came out in 2002.
Yes.
So it didn't take long for it to... Well, I mean, they're two completely different movies.
If you look at it like that, but...
Yeah. With regards to that, if a foreign movie is a hit, an immediate remake of an American version will come soon thereafter. We talked about that with Quarantine and Wreck.
Yeah.
But more successful ones, I feel, was maybe The Grudge, because that American remake came soon after with 2 sequels.
Yep, it did. The first one starring Sarah Michelle Gellar, and the part 2 starring Joan of Arcadia, Amber Tamblyn?
Yes, Amber Tamblyn, yes.
She also was in The Ring. She is the girl in the opening scene who they find in the closet later, and her head kind of falls down while her mouth is like agape, and her eyes are humongous.
Yeah, and that came out with a sequel as well. And
yeah,
then
that sucked. Like, why would you do that?
And this year came out Rings, right?
Like, no, Mom, you shouldn't have done that.
And then we have a third Grudge with...
Where it just ends the world. It comes back to the United States, and it's just gonna end the world. I like how they play with time, though, in The Grudge. You're not sure where you are in time, and where what you're seeing in the film is taking place in time. You're assuming it's happening as you're viewing it, but you come to find out this is shit that has already happened. Yeah, you're assuming what you're watching is in the present moving forward, but you're actually watching a flashback.
Those were good. Diving into American remakes, I'm going to touch base on The Mummy.
Brendan Fraser
one, 99, directed by Stephen Sommers.
Very good vintage.
Yes. And it was a remake of the original. The original came out in 1932.
Whoa.
Way back. So I don't know what was the reason to remake this movie. I mean, I've seen the original, and it's actually only like 73 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah. It's just
like
a short
long
film.
Short, yeah.
But there's a big time gap in there. Like it starts off, they uncover the mummy, and it becomes alive after they say the words, and then it goes 10 years later, and I guess he uses those 10 years to kind of regenerate into human form. Whereas in this remake, he only needs his jars of organs.
Amunakta.
Yeah. Anoxanamun. Imhotep.
Anubis.
But I think for 1999, that was a really good action movie. I think that was the appeal. Very adventurous. I think we're coming off of maybe like Last Crusade.
The Indiana Jones one?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Like
adventure action flick ish.
Yeah, with kind of a
lean towards and not anthropology, but archaeology. Yeah.
He's archaeologist.
Like yeah. Historic relics versus historic civilizations, which is anthropology.
Not necessarily tomb raiding, but that search for, I guess, gold.
Well, there's a very slight difference between archaeology and tomb raiding. One is for profit, the other is to share and for glory.
It belongs in a museum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With my name attached to it as the discoverer.
So this one, we get more action adventure.
Yeah.
And I think when they came back with The Mummy Returns,
That was a dope joint.
that was a fantastic sequel.
Sequel, right?
Yes, it was more of everything, more action,
Right.
more humor from Jonathan.
But without getting stupid, and without just falling limp.
Yes, and we get more history with Imhotep character and
Imhotep.
Anuk Sunamun. And was this the introduction for the
It
Scorpion
was.
King? Yeah. So we get The Rock in the beginning.
In the beginning, and then at the end, attached to a crab. I don't know why. But he just was.
He was half scorpion at that point.
Yeah, this is why he was still The Rock in movies before he had made a name for himself by his real name, Dwayne Johnson Atkins.
Yeah, but we see the actual success of this franchise through, it was 4 different prequels. So soon after we get The Scorpion King,
Scorpion
starring
King 2.
The Rock, Scorpion King 2, and then after those prequels we get a 3rd Mummy movie. It's the Mummy Tomb of the Dragon Emperor.
There we go.
Yeah, Maria Bello. Yeah, and we got Michelle Yeoh in there,
Cool.
and
Watching Tiger.
a grown-up Alex O'Connell, played by Luke Ford.
Oh, okay, I don't know who that is.
But this one was they took it in a different direction, but it's actually based off, I think originally it was intended to be a sequel, but just never got around to it because it was written by the same person who wrote.
Was it not a sequel?
It wasn't made. No.
The Dragon Emperor?
Yeah.
It was made.
No, I mean it was originally intended for the original Mummy as a sequel.
Oh, okay, now it has the 3rd part.
Yeah, and so
All of a sudden, The Rock came and they had to do this whole other thing called the Scorpion King. Yeah.
the Mummy, they, I think instead of this one, they made The Mummy Returns.
Which is a way better movie.
Yeah.
This
And then-
Dragon Emperor shit sucked.
It took it in a different direction, yeah, because now it's we're talking Asian history as opposed to Egyptian history, but a lot more action in this one. And I think that's probably where they ended it, the franchise, the Mummy franchise.
I think that actually killed the franchise. I like Maria Bello, but not to replace Rachel Weisz. The chemistry between her and Brendan Fraser was just too good.
Yes, it definitely was. Yeah, Evelyn, and Jonathan.
The brother.
Yeah, but yeah, I feel like the Mummy franchise, good example of successful remakes.
Remakes.
So,
Yeah.
spawned 4 sequels, or 4 prequels and 2 sequels.
Yeah.
But there's also the duds.
Super duds.
Point Break.
Ugh. No, Brody has a South American accent.
The original.
And they're ego warriors or something like that.
The first Point Break original one. It's pure 90s action cinema.
It is, but it's still badass and remains.
It remains a piece of good American cinematic history.
Yep.
Well, what didn't you like about the remake?
Everything, really. I did not like who they casted as Bodhi. I like that guy, and he's from Domino, but I do not like him as the Bodhi character. It's too iconically Patrick Swayze. Like, would you recast Roadhouse? Would you recast Dirty Dancing? And then the guy they had playing Johnny Utah, he's cool too, but and they shouldn't have done it. They just really shouldn't. I was kind of looking forward to it too, as just like an update. Okay, they're eco-terrorists now. Okay, that's fine, but it just was a piece of shit. It bombed, and I can see why, because it sucked.
How do you feel about the RoboCop remake?
I had high hopes. I love Joel Kinnaman, but I feel like it's too many chefs in the soup in that movie. Too many big names, too much trying to go on instead of getting to the meat of the story of the cop who is murdered, Alex Murphy, and comes back and is still trying to be a cop, but his life and his family life is still resonant in his brain, and he can't shake that, and that helps him to reprogram and become RoboCop.
Yeah, in this one, the Murphy's
They
character,
tried to make it too slick.
it wasn't as brutal as the original.
Not even close,
No.
right? He dies in a car bomb in this one.
Yes.
In the first one, he dies like Jesus. I mean, they're torturing him.
It was a shotgun to...
Blows off his hand, blows off his leg.
Oh
Just,
my goodness. And
I love that. 1987. And my mom, guys, took me to this. You know, I saw it on the stuff, and then we went to watch it at Varsity Theater, which is in Hawaii or on Oahu. That was like the art theater of the day. So they showed RoboCop at the art theater. And I think that's how I got away with seeing it at 7 years old with mom, guys. But it's so brutal and bloody.
I think it's one of those staples of mid to late 80s actions, like your typical 80s flick. Because it
was more brutal than a lot of the flicks. And I think they got away with that because they were independent and Orion was on the verge of bankruptcy.
And this was Paul Verhoeven.
Yeah, that name sounds familiar. What else did Paul Verhoeven do?
Basic Instinct, Starship Troopers.
Star Trek Troopers.
Yeah. Total Recall.
And Total Recall.
Total Recall. I mean...
Hey, you got a lot of nerve showing your face around here.
Yeah, but with the new RoboCop, I feel like they put more like emphasis on Murphy's memories. Like, he's still human after all. Whereas original, like Peter Weller's version, he already transitioned into RoboCop. There's no turning back. He's no longer human.
I disagree with that. I feel they put too much emphasis on the process of trying to make this cop their new product. I did not feel a familial attachment. I did not. Actually, in the original,
okay.
there wasn't that much of a familial attachment, but Peter Weller provided the dramatic attachment to his past memories. That's why he could not become what they wanted and needed him to be. This movie was higher octane action, but it skimped on the gore and the brutality of what this actual second telling of the Jesus story is. The original story was meant to be like a metaphor or a retelling of the Christ story.
Of RoboCop?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. That's what they had envisioned, and that's kind of how it played. He was the Messiah in this new world of corporation-owned reality.
And so the new one, they took away from that.
They totally took away from that. I feel they just got lost in the soup because they had to appease so much of this big name actors being in it that it just shied away from focusing on the heart of the story, which was Alex Murphy's journey. Also, they did not have his partner
played by Nancy Allen.
We are Joel Kinnaman fans. Joel Kinnaman is actually a Swedish-born actor, but he spent most of his time going back and forth between Sweden and the U.S. because his father is American.
Right. But he got that charm to him too.
He got like a gangsta white boy charm.
That's all. It's still residual from
The Killing.
The Killing. Yo, he played
best guy ever.
He's the best. Holder. Oh my god, Holder Wisdom. Oh my god, he was the man in that. I loved him in that one.
I love Joel Kinnaman.
Yeah, Joel Kinnaman. Hey, shout out to Joel Kinnaman.
Shout out to. We should tag him. Is he on Twitter? Nothing negative to say about him. He just had to work with what he's given, and I like what he can do with almost any role he's given.
Yeah.
Also, they did not do. I feel they didn't do the overall brand of RoboCop justice in this remake. Although the fight between him and Ed 209 is pretty nuts.
Oh yeah, that was a really good fight. That was a really good fight.
I thought it was better than the original because Joel Kinnaman's RoboCop is sleeker, and he's trying to like ninja his way around this fucking Goliath thing with machine guns out of its ass.
And he's Black RoboCop. This one.
It's worth a watch. It's worth a watch to see
for the new one. Yes.
Yeah.
It's a new take on.
And it's on like Hulu, Amazon, fucking
on Amazon,
Netflix, everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
Check it out.
Yeah, definitely go watch. You'll watch CC. All right, so with remakes, I feel they are necessary. Maybe a retelling every some odd years or so.
I believe that too with some films, and I'm not the kind of. I've stated this before. I think the kind of person who just hates a remake for being a remake.
Yeah.
Although a lot of them are shitty, but some you got to give the time of day.
Yeah, for sure, and they do remake these movies for. Good, more or less good reasons, to accommodate for a new generation of film viewers. Yes? No?
No. No.
No. Oh.
Hashtag no.
But yeah. But as far as remakes, good or bad, I think they usually good. Usually.
A lot of times,
A
yeah.
lot of times, yeah. So if you see a remake, go watch it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I hope you enjoyed this.
I hope you do too, yeah.
Loosely 3-part discussion on remakes.
Yeah.
You know what I keep hearing though? People
What?
keep using the word reboot.
Speak on it.
No, well, I mean, reboot the franchise, remake the movie. That's how it should be. But we hope you enjoyed this remake discussion.
Really did, yeah.
Yeah. Feel free to let us know
If you have disagreements or like hate mail, send it to Ono. But if you
Please
have
do,
love
yes.
mail, please send it to Mox with pictures.
All right. Well, thank you. Hope you enjoyed this.
Peace.
Original, remake, whatever. Good movie's a good movie. Don't like it, move on.
Well, we got some good movies to mention in this upcoming 1006.
Yeah, this segment says Peace Fade.
Shut up, dude.
This is what?
Our last segment is closing time. We'll talk family-friendly movies to watch with the kids on Halloween.
Sounds dumb.
It's not.
Yeah, let's just run it.
1006.
The box. We came. Now you must come with us. Taste our pleasures.
For this Senno 6, we'll be listing our favorite family-friendly movies to watch this Halloween with the kids. We grew up watching most of these movies, and a few of them a little later, and I think it's safe to say no trauma from watching any of these. A little scary at first, but I think we grew out of it. These are timeless flicks and will always be fun to watch. And if you've enjoyed them as much as we have, I think your children will probably like them too.
I like how you say no trauma, but on your honorable mentions, you got The Gate. I remember seeing that at a drive-in, and maybe just because the monster was huge on that 200-foot screen, but it was terrifying. I think it had an R rating too. And that's cool. I remember liking that movie as a kid. I even saw the second part. I got an R rated one on my list too, although an undeserving R, I believe, but nevertheless. Anyway, let's get into this. Anyway, so when you hear this, it means that me and Ono had different selections at that pick.
Yeah, and if you hear this, we got the same thing.
Anyway, let's get into this. Who's on first?
At number 6, I have Monsters, Inc. Disney Pixar great, up there with Toy Story and The Incredibles. I didn't see this one until after college, though. I guess I was busy watching other movies. But I did enjoy it a lot, generally speaking. And from what I remember, I'd say this has kind of the same framework as Little Monsters, the one with Fred Savage and Howie Mandel, but just different themes. In Monsters, Inc., we're shown that a child's laugh is a powerful thing. And not only is it important, it is also a necessity.
I love Monsters, Inc. I don't really remember the plot to Little Monsters, but when I think of Fred Savage, I think of The Boy Who Could Fly or The Princess Bride. Monsters, Inc. reminded me more of the Boogeyman from the Real Ghostbusters TV cartoon. He had a matrix of stairs in the shadow world that led to different doors to closets in kids' room. Plus, he was basically a T-Rex, 70% head and teeth, tiny arms and shit. Just terrifying. My pick for number 6, The Karate Kid.
What?
While not a horror movie, one of the film's most memorable scenes and plot points occurs on Halloween. Daniel, the little bitch, is dressed as a shower trying to hide his face and go to the dance, but he is still spotted by Johnny and the heroes from Cobra Kai. They're dressed as iconic skeletons. They chase him down and beat his little weenie ass, but then Mr. Miyagi has to jump in and ruin things. This is also the first scene in the film where we, the audience, realize that Miyagi is not just some weird maintenance guy who catches flies with chopsticks. He can fuck you up. He's from Hawaii. Sorry, irrelevant, but I like pointing out who's from Hawaii. If you haven't seen this with your kids, please do. And please ignore that piece of shit by the same name, starring Will Smith's kid.
Ooh, that was actually pretty exciting, I think.
Oh my god. Just bring that buzzer. Buzz it, buzz it.
And Daniel's son got Elizabeth Shue.
Oh, which one were you saying was exciting? I thought you were saying the remake was exciting.
They both were.
So yeah, ring that buzzer. Elizabeth Shue, yes. Harvard grad, not from Hawaii.
At number 5, I have Hocus Pocus.
Pocus.
Another Disney great. This one is live action. It stars Bette Midler, Sarah Jessica Parker, and Kathy Najimy, 3 witches from the Salem witch trials resurrected into modern-day 1993 Salem, Massachusetts.
In Essex County.
Yes. This film had the appeal and charm for any child growing up in the 90s. It wasn't too scary, but it was adventurous. The witches were villainous but goofy, and the lead hero / virgin, he's the one that lit the candle, was a dude we could all look up to. The film also starred a very young Thora Birch and the girl we all wanted, Vanessa Shaw. She gets the Michelangelo Award.
What's the Michelangelo Award? Is that like for statuesque beauty? Anyway, I remember Hocus Pocus and I liked it. I thought that was the perfect casting for Sarah Jessica Parker. Every time after when I saw her in Sex and the City, I just remember laughing as fuck. Sophisticated New York women are gonna take love advice from a witch. Bette Midler was dope in that too. I always wonder why she stopped being in movies. She's awesome.
And she a Radford grad too.
She's also from Hawaii. Yes. My number 5, The Frighteners. This could have made number 1 on the list if they went all the way with the film. I feel like the director, Peter Jackson, was not allowed to get crazy with this film. He has a background in gory B movies and special effects, so it's like, what? Why? But if you haven't seen it, it stars Michael J. Fox as a paranormal investigator in a seaside town that is suddenly gripped by a rash of heart attacks. But come to find out, it is being plagued by the ghost of the town's most notorious serial killer, played by Jake Busey.
All right.
This is the coolest iteration of the Grim Reaper I've ever seen. It flies, it climbs through walls, and of course, it wields a huge Sith. This movie garnered an undeserved R rating, and I feel it should have went into R territory by having the Reaper cut people apart with a Sith, but instead he just reaches into their chests and stops their hearts. Lame. Cool story and concept, cool villain, and family safe enough to earn it number 5 on my list.
Yeah, it was pretty frightening.
Pun intended.
Okay. At number 4, I have Casper. Casper, the friendly ghost. As a kid, I've only heard about Casper. I've never seen the actual cartoon that came out way back when.
The cartoon?
And I think the general market for this movie was targeted at young teens, but it hooked me. Even though I was only 11 at the time, it got me real good. I was already a fan of Christina Ricci from the Addams Family and Addams Family Values.
Black Snake Moon.
And when I saw Devon Sawa appear at the end as Casper in the flesh, damn, Devon, you my boy. I was a fan of Little Giants, of course. Giants, yeah. But Casper, it's sort of a bittersweet story. Being a young ghost boy, he only wants to have a friend.
Mostly sweet.
And Bill Pullman's character trying to make contact with his deceased wife, only to be told at the end by her that he needs to stop what you're doing and enjoy life. Oh, and take care of our daughter. She needs you now.
Yeah, BTW.
Shout out to Jordan Hill for the track Remember Me This Way, which for some reason was a blast at all the school dances. For some reason.
Went to a lot of school dances, did you?
Oh, well, the assembly time, right?
I went to my 9th grade dance, but it was so lame, we ditched our dates and went to play basketball. I would have rather played Dungeons and Dragons, but nobody I knew played D&D. It was all basketball and hip-hop. So you have no idea how many nights I spent at the courts or how many and one videos I've suffered through.
Oh my god.
I forgot Devon Sawa was in Casper.
Yeah.
Probably because I never bothered to watch it or pay attention when it was on HBO.
Can I keep you? And
he
as a friend, he wants a friend. That's what he wants.
Well, that's what they all say. They loved it. Anyway, I loved Little Giants. Hey, fat lineman, get out of Spike's way unless you want cleat marks on your fat back. Oh, I love that line. But I think Devon Sawa is most memorable for being Stan from the Eminem Songs video.
Really? Oh, man.
That is such a badass song. You hear Dido, tears gone cold, I'm wondering why. And fucking Devon Sawa is murdering his girlfriend and throwing her in a trunk, just being all perfect crazy. Super awesome.
Damn, that was you.
Yeah. And Devon Sawa's from Hawaii. Psych!
Yeah, he's from Kailua.
He totally looks like he's from Kailua. Especially as Stan. Okay, my number 4, The Goonies.
What?
What? Why what?
What?
He loves Casper, but Goonies gets a what?
Number 4, no less. Wow.
They're a bunch of nerd rejects chasing a pirate treasure. starring a young Josh Brolin before he went Hammer style and Oh Boy. Growing up, I wish my homies wanted to be the Goonies or the Explorers, but they were into Juice and New Jersey Drive.
Jesus.
I was like, dudes, we have a better shot at discovering pirate gold than you guys being legitimate hip-hop heads or car thieves, but whatever. I'll go play Goonies by myself.
So the rest of this list, for my list, is PG-13.
Yeah.
But I still think it has an appeal for a family audience. At number 3, I have The Addams Family. Yes.
I gotta give you a what?
Yes, this is yes. There's a Halloween scene at the end where they play "Wake the Dead." Wake the Dead. All right. Okay. Anyway, the screen adaptation of the 1964 television show. Again, this was one of those I've heard of it, never saw an episode. I don't even think it was on Nick at Night. Back then, it was the Patty Duke Show,
Sean Astin's mom,
My Three Sons, and Green Acres. Well, Nick at Night during my time, for sure. Nowadays, it's Roseanne and Cosby Show.
That's what's Nick at Night nowadays?
Yeah. Well, I think even maybe Prince of Bel-Air. Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Prince of Persia. I'm thinking Prince of Persia, not Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Guess then.
Yeah. But when this movie came out, it was a hit. What I loved about it, though, was that it was such a unique type of family living in modern day America. I guess I could relate to the Addams family in a small way, in that they were sort of that odd family on the block, was with those house parties, bring every relative in their bloodline over.
That's because you guys lived up a level heights. If you lived further in Kalihi,
It's just another Saturday.
Right. Everybody's there.
But you know, it's those families that playing their own type of music with their own house band, cooking their own food. You know, the one with the weird smell.
And having chicken fight.
Yeah, but people loved it. The families loved it. Just loud, having a good time. My family was like that for a little bit, but I think everyone just became partied out. This movie just showed me how a family can be so loyal to each other, love one another unconditionally, and that family reunions can happen every other weekend as opposed to once a year thing. My favorite scene in the movie, though, is when Gomez calls up Sally, Jesse, Raphael. Shout out to Raul Julia. You brought this character to life and portrayed such an ideal family man. Oh, and then that Halloween scene at the end, Wake the Dead. Shout out to Wake the Dead.
You know he's dead, right? Raul Julia?
Yes.
Okay. I first remember him as the bad guy in some cheesy action movie, probably about drug trafficking.
Street Fighter!
And as the original M. Bison in that terrible fucking 95 piece of shit. Fucking piece of shit. Why the fuck is that piece of shit?
I mean, cinematic glory
achievement?
Film.
No. Now you're just trolling me, son. I might have to rewatch The Addams Family now. I did not get any of what you got out of it. But hearing you describe it makes it resonate for me. You know, a unique family living in modern day America. At number 3, I have a cartoon. An American cartoon. We're getting better. I remember for a while, as far as American cartoon movies went, if you weren't Disney, you weren't shit. But this creepy jewel was done by Laika Animation Studios, home-based in Oregon. Hey, your former neck of the woods, Ono.
Ooh, yes.
Laika specializes in a high-tech form of stop-motion animation. They are the same geniuses behind Coraline, which was based on a story penned by the Sandman himself, Neil Gaiman. Paranorman focuses, of course, on a kid named Norman. He's an outcast whose journey takes him down the road to hero. I think I often relate to outcasts. I have not traveled the road to hero yet, so come on, radioactive spider or gamma rays, hook it up. Actually, I'd probably be a villain. Anyways, what you got at number 2, brother?
Number 2. This is what I got. At number 2, well, I have Beetlejuice. Yes. Fantastic soundtrack, fantastic story, and the effects and set designs all memorable and wonderful. But I didn't know what I was watching as a kid. It was dark, but not in that sort of negative context.
Right.
You know, it's Tim Burton. But rather just in a fantasy,
just crooked furniture,
otherworldly way, like legend or never-ending story. What appealed to me, though, was the insect factor in this movie. Beetlejuice loves eating flies and roaches. It's just gross, but it was cool to see him do that. No one else in any other film up until that point, for me anyway, I have not seen. And all the other different characters in that movie, in that other world, was just a sight to see, even though I had no idea that they were dead. Yes. And of course, the music, and when everyone would break into, song.
Daylight. Yes. What a dope scene out of nowhere too. They're
Out of
eating
nowhere.
dinner, right?
Yes.
Shrimp cocktails and shit.
It's a good thing these songs were awesome. Otherwise, I don't think it would have been a good
It
movie
wouldn't
at
have
all.
played.
No, it just
Tim Burton, I think he had to re-choose the music after he suggested they add music in.
Yeah.
Somebody came with some other shit, and he was like, "No, son, play some shit,"
Shout out to Danny Elfman.
Yeah,
for
fuck
sure.
Yeah.
A majority of the adult-themed jokes, though, kind of just flew over my head. But I made nothing too inappropriate for today's audience either. Shout out to Tim Burton, who for a majority of my childhood came out with a line of consistent hits, dark themes, but just wonderful to see.
Except Big Top Pee-wee. Guess what, son? My number 2, Beetlejuice.
Cinephiles for the win.
Awesome everything in this movie. From the opening with Gina Davis and Alec Baldwin dying and the sandworms. God, I love the sandworms. Winona Ryder is so awesome in this movie. I think I had a crush on her from this movie. Could have been Edward Scissorhands, another Tim Burton gem. Michael Keaton crushed it in this one as the title character. I can't see anybody else playing Beetlejuice. Tim Burton initially wanted Sammy Davis Jr., who was 63 at the time, and not scary at all, or as talented at acting. But David Geffen, the producer, suggested Keaton. This film had so many obstacles to becoming the eventual glory that it was. It was originally a proper horror by Michael McDowell alone and meant for John Carpenter. And they imagined Beetlejuice much darker and more rapey. Also, too, Winona Ryder almost didn't get the job. Lori Loughlin, Diane Lane, Sarah Jessica Parker, Brooke Shields, Justine Bateman, Molly Ringwald, and Jennifer Connelly all had to pass before Winona's audition got considered. But Winona Ryder will always be Lydia to me. Main thing, I'm glad things happen as they did. Tim Burton brought his creepy whimsy and the music choices to the film. It was his idea to add the music sequences and to go with Harry Belafonte's Sonora, which plays during the dance sequence that closes out the film. And no music nod would be complete without mentioning, again, Danny Elfman's Beetlejuice theme.
Word.
This shit's just fire. I have it in rotation on my iPod. It's great for running, lifting weights. Might be dope for jiu-jitsu too, but I never have the guts to bust it out during open mat. Honorable mentions!
Before I should give an honorable mention to Winona Ryder and Edward Scissorhands.
Boom.
Boom. I love the blonde hair.
I do.
Yeah.
I do.
And she's a natural blonde.
Is she?
Yeah.
She looks much more like Craven.
Like
naturally
burn,
as a brunette, yeah.
She had to dye her hair.
Oh, Elvis.
Yeah. And then she kept it that way.
It, yeah. I liked her as a blonde. Maybe I just have a thing for blondes. We don't have enough of that in Cleveland.
Shout out to Winona Ryder and Stranger Things.
Yup. And as Spock's mom.
All right. Yes. Honorable mentions. Yes, for sure. I think these movies, maybe parents might want to be in the room, but if you're just a group of kids having a sleepover, yes, these movies are perfect for watching in the dark.
Especially if you got girls there.
They actually creep into PG-13 zone, because the Gate, not rated R, PG-13.
It is?
Yeah, it's PG-13.
What?
I know, right? In the 80s, that's 80s criteria.
They just like throw shit around and PG-13.
Yes.
I swear to God they said the F word, and I swear to God there's people getting murdered in that movie.
Well, no one actually technically dies. They just like get grabbed through the closet into some supernatural. I think the most graphic scene though is when Stephen Dorff's parents melt in front of him. Like they melt.
That's pretty graphic.
That's pretty graphic, right? But that's PG-13.
Okay, I remember this. Well, I'm 4 years older than you, so I saw it probably 4 years before you, and it left a mark on me that I thought it was definitely R-rated. Like the Gate was like a ooh.
No.
You know, you walk into the video store, you see the poster of the Gate, you're like, ooh, I'll go left.
Right. I'm not gonna
walk by that. I'm not gonna walk by that poster.
So I got the Gate, Arachnophobia, which is also PG-13. People die in this one.
They do, but it's from a spider bite.
But the title suggests if you're scared of spiders, you'll be scared in this
like
movie.
anybody knew that arachnophobia meant the fear of spiders before this movie came out.
Yeah.
You know, I'm just young, and I'm like maybe 9 or 10. I'm seeing this big ass word. I'm like, what the
Okay, it's got spiders. Okay.
Yeah, it's a spider movie, I guess. Oh, it's that guy from fucking Roseanne. The Exterminator.
Was Roseanne out already? But
Roseanne's
see,
been on since
every
the
time
80s.
John Goodman was on film or on screen, they always played the happy music. They always cue in the happy background music, so you know it was safe. Every time he was around, it was safe.
I wouldn't know. I've seen that movie all of 2 times in my 36 years.
And third honorable mention goes to Signs. M.
Good
Night
one.
Shyamalan. Yes.
Don't be afraid of the stuff. It's just made out by guys who don't have girlfriends and live in their mother's basement.
Swing away.
Why
Swing
can't they
away.
get girlfriends? That is a young Abby Breslin who went on to be
Olive? Where's Olive? And
what is that? Little Miss
Sunshine.
Sunshine. Yeah, great movie.
Yeah, it's okay.
What?
Yeah.
He like gives props to Casper, this guy, and an Oscar level film. He's like, yeah, it was okay. Moving on.
Move on.
It was okay. Leave 2006 in 2006. It's like, fuck you, Casper's in the 90s and Addams Family. Anyway, before we get on a rant, I believe it's my turn.
Honorable mentions, yes.
Yeah. I got Something Wicked This Way Comes, a Disney movie based on an old novel. I got The Hole, a teen horror starring Haley Bennett of The Magnificent Seven and directed by Master of Horror Joe Dante. He also directed the Thriller video, in case anybody gives a fuck. And finally, Darkness Falls, a decent, albeit PG-13, take on a terrifying tale of the Tooth Fairy. Oh, alliteration aside.
Woo, woo. All right, number one.
Drum roll and
At number 1, I have The Monster Squad. Nothing more fitting of a movie for a child seeking a hero or a group of heroes that
True.
he can relate to. And fighting the top 5 villains of folklore, well, the squad befriends one of them. And this movie has the essential for any type of action movie. You know, gathering the group together, picking up weapons and resources, prepping for the fight and the actual final battle. For sort of a modern day Monster Squad, if this ain't your thing, check out Attack the Block.
Yep, nice one, son. Attack the Block was dope. I really didn't expect how awesome that was going to be.
Yeah, it was really good. I really enjoyed that one.
They're actually aliens they're fighting in that movie.
Yeah, not monsters.
But happens in, I guess, English block?
The ghetto.
Ghetto, yeah, that's what they call blocks, B-L-O-C. I actually revisited Monster Squad a couple years back. It is almost unwatchable cheese to me now. The premise still holds.
Oh, okay, good.
I believe. Just the film itself is too dated, bro.
It is. Yeah.
I'd love to see a remake of that film.
I think one is in the works, actually.
Fuck yeah. I'd just be too ashamed to show my kids the original version, you know, because they'll already mock you and be like, this is what email is. I know what is email!
Oh, okay.
My number 1. Wait for it. Execute, execute, execute. Stephen King's It. What? This movie might actually scare the shit out of your kids. Good.
Yeah, especially the part 1.
This guy in his part 1 just won't let part 1 go. It's great. Yeah. Well, he's referencing in part 1 they're kids. In part 2, they transition to the story takes place at the present time when they are all adults coming back like 30 years after.
Almost
fact.
30 years, yeah.
It's just an excellent coming of age story that happens to revolve around an unimaginable evil, played by Tim Curry.
Yeah, Tim Curry.
If you are a fan of Stand By Me, The Sandlot, Shawshank Redemption, A Nightmare on Elm Street, or anything that's heavy on the awesome sauce, you will love it. It is actually being remade, and I am looking forward as fuck to it. Hashtag YoWatchCC.
Nice list.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, this was a good list.
I was fucking with you. Let's wrap this up and get burritos.
Yeah, well, thanks for tuning in. Please be sure to hit us up on Twitter at CynicalMass.
Yeah, that's CINECAL_mass.
Yep.
Yes, so thanks for stopping by. Hope you enjoyed today's show. Be sure to subscribe to the podcast if you haven't already. We're currently on iTunes. Please rate and review the show there. We'd appreciate it. Any comments, questions, movie recommendations, hate mail can all be directed to our email at cinephilesandcenobites@gmail.com.
Yeah, so I am Mox at villainous_kind. Shout outs to our friends at Don't Go Down That Road podcast. You can find them on Twitter too, Facebook, their email, don't go down that road at gmail.com. Other shout outs, Basement Condition, Drunk Batman and Games and Graphics, VHS Life. And I just want you guys to always stay rating Oakland.
Oh, man. Yeah, I'm also on the tweets at This Is Ono. That is This Is OHNO. Please also check out my music podcast. Visit the website takingtheleadmedia.com.
Yep.
On Twitter at TTLM Podcast. And check out what games I've been playing with a couple other buddies of mine. Search our channel on YouTube. Give Me Seconds. That's GIMMESECONDS. On Twitter at Give Me Seconds.
GIMMESECONDS on Twitter.
Go watch movies.
Broadcasting to you from the Blood Cave, Cinephiles and Cenobites, a Nickel Media podcast. For Mox, Ono, and myself, really, Schrody O'Malley, doors locked and windows barred, guard dogs prowling round the yard, won't protect you in your bed, nothing will from. There is no peace.
We have candy. This is a Nickel Media podcast.